This is the world premiere of the XO EXPLR 44, and this is by some margin the biggest and most powerful boat that XO has ever built. It shares plenty with the smaller boats. It's got an aluminium hull as well, but it's also got an aluminium deck with fiberglass superstructure. And what I'm interested to find out is all this extra space to play with, what have they managed to achieve on board? It's super powerful as well, up to 1200 horsepower, and we're fortunate to have the luxury of two boats to film here, the black one down there or the champagne one. I think that looks fantastic. Shall we look around that? Let's go. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. We've got to start by talking about power. As you can see, this one has got triple 400 horsepower Mercury V10s. You can have two of those, or you can have twin 600 horsepower V12s, which the black one has got. Either way, you're not going to be short on performance, but with these, you're looking at around 47 knots, cruising speed of 35 knots for a range of 240 nautical miles. It is designed to go places fast. Let's have a close look at some of the detail on deck though. So right down here, this is where the ladder pops out. Obviously you're not a full width bathing platform because you've got outboards there, but you've got nice sponsons on either side, one with a ladder, cleats on both sides as well, and they're pop up. So when you don't want to use them, you can put them flush to the deck and you're not going to stub your toe. It's also got a stern anchor. Being a Nordic boat, that's often how they will anchor. They'll put the bow into an island or a beach and they'll run the anchor out the back, and that is neatly tucked down there on the starboard side, and you can walk across. There's enough space behind this section to get across to the other side, which is quite useful. Let's step on board where the practical stuff continues. I can pop this cushion up. That just springs up on a powered ram, and then you've got storage on both sides. Again, pops up on a ram. Good for putting your lines, maybe a couple of fenders. There's a cushion in there because, I shall explain. I'll pop this back down. This table's on an electric pedestal. There's a button here. You can drop that flush down to the rest of the seating, put an infill cushion, and then you have a big sunbathing space. And this section here is actually on a ratchet. So if you want to sit and dine, you've got some back support. That works quite nicely. Into the main cockpit itself, you immediately notice how much glazing there is in this area. This is to really help out the levels of natural light in the cabin below. Obviously we're going to look at that later on. This is also your wet bar. It's very wide. It looks a bit empty, this one, because it's only got the one grill and the sink, but I suspect you could have another grill here, or just, you know, a nice amount of countertop to prepare food. There's no cooling space underneath or any storage because there's glass there, so that's just a compromise you're going to have to live with. However, they have put fridge drawers underneath both of these seat sections, so you have got a couple of spots to put some cold drinks. There's also the option to have a canopy overhead. You can see the poles slot into the deck, so you've got some shade if you're eating out here in the middle of the day, and you've got some quite cool thing like the big spotlight aft. If you're moving around at night, you know, backing into a berth, quite useful to be able to illuminate the back of the boat, and you can see the sound system up here as well. Yeah, nice sort of fun, relaxing party area. And it's symmetrical deck spaces, so equal space on both sides, really easy to walk around. On either side of the wheelhouse, you drop down here, which is nice because you feel more secure. There's no railings here. Incidentally, that's why you've got these to hang your fenders off. But because I've dropped down a bit, I do feel nice and secure, and there's always something to hold on to. Railing overhead, the handle on the door, and talking of the door, that's a really wide aperture. You have them on both sides. You've also got the boarding gates on both sides. The one on the starboard side is particularly useful because it aligns with the helm, so if you're mooring the boat, you can step straight out onto the pontoon, which is something I always like to see. Moving forward, more deck gear, and this isn't obviously quite as deep as it is there, but you've got the railing reappears, so I've always got something just to steady myself on as I'm moving forward. And we've another living space here. I mean, it's really just a sunbathing space, but you've got some cup holders on both sides, short backrests, so you could sort of sit and lean up against the windscreen if you want to have a read of something or you're moving along slowly, but really, this is your main fixed sunbathing area. Right forward, on this boat, this is just storage. You can see it's fender storage here, a big black hole. However, the black boat over there has got the forward anchor mechanism. It's an option, and it folds out when you want to use it, and it goes away and hides completely when you don't. So we'll get some B-roll of that so you can see it. The other thing the black boat has got is real teak decking. This is synthetic teak, looks okay. Obviously it's quite practical, but I think the real teak on that one looks absolutely fantastic. Again, we'll get some shots of it so you can see what it looks like. Okay, that's the deck spaces. Let's head inside. Let's start inside this cabin where it feels surprisingly spacious. There's plenty of height here. It's nice and wide. Despite having the full walk around decks, it doesn't feel too pinched inside this space, and it's flexible as well. At the moment, it's set up in your dining arrangement, as you can see, but when you want to drive, you can flip this back. This table is also on a high-low pedestal, so you can drop that down and then fill it. And then this is a small galley area. Your sink, you've got a single hob and then some storage underneath. The fridge, incidentally, is down here on this side. I think given you can sleep 4 people on board and carry many more on deck, you're going to feel a little bit short of cooling space. Despite those drawers out there, it just feels you could do with a bit more fridge space personally. But you've got reasonable amounts of storage in these sections here, some sockets as well, some more drawer storage down there. And this entire thing, when you want to drive the boat, because in this, guys, this whole unit is right up against the helm, but there's a button here, and if I press this, it will go aft to allow me to drive. Not a fast process, but once this has slowly moved all the way back, you can move into the driving position, which immediately feels really good. Certainly in this leaning position I've adopted. It's a bolster, so if you want to sit, you can just drop this down and you can sit up in these helm chairs, but I get the feeling that considering the performance of this boat, you're probably going to be wanting a brace like this. And if you do that, you've got the wheel nice and close. It is adjustable, so you can move it up and down. These chunky Mercury throttles right underneath my hand. I know we're not moving anywhere, but I just feel like I've got really good control. I can rest my hand on the base of the throttles here and use my thumb to adjust the speed in single lever mode. Just the sort of control you want to have when you're traveling along in a performance boat like this. I think the helm looks great, all dark material, so there should be no glare. 2 big Garmin MFDs, and you've got all your various apps inside, you know, Seakeeper, lighting through Lumishore. It's also got the Garmin surround view system as well, so it's almost like the 360 cameras you get in cars these days. You have cameras on the outside, so you have a top-down view, you can see all sides of the boat, and between that and the joystick, it should be a really easy boat to manoeuvre. As I said, it's got a Seakeeper fitted. That's an option, obviously. We'll have a look at that later on because it's tucked down in that cabin. The only thing I would say is these air vents, lovely as they are, absolute use these, they're sort of Mercedes-esque. They're very low. They're not going to give you much air in your face on a warm day, and you know, it could get quite warm in here. That said, because of the sliding doors and the sunroof, that's an electric sunroof that slides back, it is pretty easy to ventilate. Now, 2 cabins on board. Let's start with the forward one. I think you would describe this as the owner's cabin, and what is pleasing is for this style of boat, headroom is pretty good. If you're well over 6 foot, it's going to be a bit cramped, but for me, perfectly comfortable to stand down here, and it's the same in the bathrooms. You have private bathrooms on either end, which is nice. Bed is a decent size, not set too high, easy to clamber in and out of. You can see that hatch above that we saw from on deck. That's what you can open to get some natural ventilation in here, but there are opening ports up here as well. And the other thing about this cabin is it aligns with those really striking triple ports you've got on the outside. So actually natural light down here and the view out isn't too bad. And it feels bright because it's got the light oak wood. There are some darker options. I think this is nice because it does help brighten up the area. Something you are lacking is hanging storage. There's quite good cubbies all over the place, and there's these shelves here, but there's nowhere I can see that you can actually hang clothes. So if you're staying on board for longer stints, which I'll be honest, it's not really what it's designed for, but if you are, you're going to struggle a little bit to store your clothes. But what is good is the size of this ensuite. It's a wet room, but because of that, there's plenty of floor space. You've got a shower, you've got a toilet, bit more storage in there. It's not too bad at all. And of course, there's another cabin aft. So let's head there. Now this obviously completes the seating area when you're dining or travelling. So to get access to the cabin, you slide across this bottom section, and then there's a pull tab. The aft bit's on a gas ram, and then you can just pin this up here, and you've actually got really pretty good access down a staircase into this cabin. And again, the thing that strikes me is how good the headroom is, considering again where we are on the boat. And look at the effect of this glass. It makes it feel so bright. It's nice that you're not down here and looking straight at a bulkhead. You've got a view out, which is really nice. Of course, a blind as well, because you're going to want some privacy, because people can see in as well as you seeing out. Handhold here, so you can steady yourself. And another private bathroom. It's not as big as the one forward, but it's not a sort of crouching room either. It's really pretty good size. And again, just add to that privacy. If you have got 4 people staying on board, they're not all sharing the same bathroom. Now, one of the constraints here is the headroom. So I can just about sit on this berth and sit up, and certainly if I was leaning back I could probably use the iPad or read. And nice that you've got space between these two, and it's a decent space down the middle as well. And you've got some access here to the Seakeeper. I mentioned earlier that's where the Seakeeper is. There's no top access, so if you need to do any sort of serious work to it, it's a little bit tricky, but it's tucked away down there. And the thing to mention is if you're sleeping in here and it's on, it's going to be quite noisy. The other thing is though, you can make this into a big double. There's an infill, so you can fill in this section and make what is a really wide bed. Storage, pretty similar to forward actually. You've got cupboards here, cupboards over on that side, and you've got some storage on either side too. And you know, these backrests act as fiddles, so you can put items up there and they're not going to slide around. And there's another strip of glazing there, so you can see the outboards. You've got some natural ventilation to air conditioning throughout as well as an option. So as I said, this is a big fast day boat for many people, a commuter even, but if you do want to stay on board, certainly with kids, 4 of you, I think they'd really enjoy sleeping in here. It's interesting that when they were developing this model they had Florida in mind, hence why there's so much petrol outboard power on the back of these things. But actually I think the way they designed it, it works in many different environments. They've sold these to people who use them as commuter boats, big day boats, and you might say a big day boat probably wants more deck space, and yes, the cabin takes up a lot of room, but the deck spaces are clever. This is flexible, seating, sunbathing, you've got a big wet bar on deck, more sunbathing space forward. And what I would say is there's only so much you can tell about a boat like this on a stand like this. Really, with all this power, it's about driving it, which we're going to get to do later in the year. So subscribe now to make sure you're not going to miss it, because with nearly 50 knot performance, 36 knot cruising speed, a range of 250 nautical miles, this is potentially a very capable machine. I think the Brabus Shadow 1200 has got some serious competition. Let me know in the comments below which one you'd go for. Thanks very much for watching that tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give the video a like if you did. And if you'd like to watch my sea trial of one of its real close competitors, the Brabus Shadow 1200 cross cabin, we took that yacht spotting in Monaco, so you can watch that video up there. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.